My friends, I need you to stop what you're doing right now because what I'm about to share with you today could directly affect the money that hits your bank account this Friday. If you're one of the millions of Americans counting on Social Security retirement benefits, VA payments, or disability income to pay your bills, put down that cup of coffee and listen closely. I've been getting calls and messages all week from people just like you asking the same questions. Is my Friday payment coming on time? Why did my neighbor get a different amount? Are there changes I don't know about? I understand that worry because I know how important that direct deposit is to you. It's not just numbers on a screen. It's your groceries, your medications, your utility bills, and your peace of mind. Over the past few days, the Social Security Administration has quietly updated their payment schedule, and there are some critical details that every retiree and VA beneficiary needs to understand before this Friday rolls around. Some of you might see your payment arrive exactly as expected, while others could notice timing changes, amount adjustments, or even unexpected deductions that nobody warned you about. I've spent hours going through the official SSA announcements, VA updates, and IRS guidelines so I can break this down for you in plain English, the way a trusted friend would explain it across your kitchen table. This isn't about scaring you. It's about making sure you're prepared and informed so there are no surprises when you check your bank account on Friday morning. Let me start by explaining exactly what's happening with your Friday Social Security deposit and why this particular week has so many seniors concerned. The Social Security Administration operates on a very specific payment calendar that most people don't fully understand, and that confusion leads to unnecessary stress every single month. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of any month, your regular Social Security retirement or disability payment typically arrives on the second Wednesday of each month. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th, your payment comes on the third Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, you get paid on the fourth Wednesday. But here's where things get interesting this week, my friends. When there are federal holidays, weekend conflicts, or system maintenance updates, the SSA sometimes adjusts these payment dates, and that's exactly what's creating confusion right now. Some beneficiaries who normally receive their deposits on Wednesday are seeing their payments shifted to Friday this week. And if you're not aware of this change, you might panic when you don't see that money in your account on the day you expected it. Now let's talk about the actual dollar amounts you should be seeing in your account this Friday, because this is where I want you to pay very close attention. With the 2025 cost of living adjustment that went into effect in January, the average Social Security retirement benefit increased to approximately $1,976 per month. If you're receiving the maximum benefit because you worked for 35 years at maximum taxable earnings and waited until age 70 to claim, you could be getting as much as $5,180 monthly. For those of you on SSI, the federal benefit rate went up to $967 for individuals and $1,450 for eligible couples. Disabled workers on SSDI are averaging around $1,572 per month after the recent adjustment. But here's the reality that nobody likes to talk about. Just because these are the standard amounts doesn't mean that's what actually lands in your bank account. There are several reasons your Friday deposit might be less than you're expecting, and I want to walk through each one so you're not caught off guard. First, let's discuss Medicare Part B premiums, because this is the biggest deduction that surprises people every single year. If you're enrolled in Medicare and having your Part B premium deducted directly from your Social Security check, that's going to reduce your net payment by approximately $185 per month for most people in 2025. Higher income beneficiaries might be paying significantly more due to income-related monthly adjustment amounts, sometimes called EAR, which can add hundreds of dollars to your premium if your modified adjusted gross income from 2 years ago exceeded certain thresholds. If you're married and filing jointly and your income was above $1,200 to $3,000, you're paying extra. Single filers with income over $97,000 also face these surcharges. What frustrates me is that the Social Security Administration doesn't always explain this clearly, so people see a smaller deposit and think there's been a mistake when really it's just Medicare premiums eating into their benefit. Now, let me tell you about something that's affecting thousands of retirees this year that hardly anyone is talking about: benefit clawbacks and overpayment recoveries. If the Social Security Administration believes they paid you too much at any point in the past, they have the legal right to withhold part of your current benefits to recover that money. This can happen for all sorts of reasons. Maybe you returned to work and earned more than the earnings limit allows. Perhaps there was an error in calculating your initial benefit, or possibly you received survivor benefits you weren't entitled to. The SSA can withhold up to 10% of your monthly benefit to recover overpayments, which means if you're supposed to get $2,000, you might only see $1,800 arrive in your account. The frustrating part is that sometimes you won't receive advance notice that this is happening, so that first reduced payment comes as a complete shock. If this happens to you this Friday, don't panic. You have rights. You can request a waiver if you believe the overpayment wasn't your fault, or you can negotiate a lower repayment rate if the standard 10% causes financial hardship. Let me shift gears and talk about VA benefits for a moment, because many of you watching this receive both Social Security and Veterans Affairs payments, and the timing coordination between these two systems can be confusing. VA compensation and pension payments typically arrive on the first business day of each month, which means your VA money and your Social Security deposit usually come at different times. However, if you're receiving VA disability compensation, those payments are not reduced by Social Security offsets. You get to keep both amounts in full. But here's something important. If you're getting SSI, which is need-based, your VA pension benefits might reduce your SSI payment dollar for dollar because SSI has strict income limits. This is one of those situations where getting money from one source can actually decrease what you receive from another, and it catches people by surprise every single month. As of 2025, veterans with a 100% disability rating are receiving around $3,900 monthly, and that amount did increase slightly this year. But again, if you're also on SSI, you need to report that VA income, because failing to do so can lead to overpayments that you'll eventually have to pay back. Let's talk about taxes for a moment, because this is another area where I see seniors getting confused and sometimes losing money they didn't need to lose. Many retirees don't realize that Social Security benefits can be taxable depending on your total income. If you're single and your combined income, which includes half of your Social Security plus all other income, exceeds $25,000, up to 50% of your benefits become taxable. If your combined income tops $34,000, up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed. For married couples filing jointly, these thresholds are $32,000 and $44,000 respectively. Now here's the connection to your Friday deposit. If you're having federal taxes withheld from your Social Security check, that's coming out before the money hits your account. You can choose to have 7, 10, 12, or 22% withheld, and while this helps you avoid a big tax bill in April, it also means your monthly deposit is smaller. Some people forget they set up withholding years ago and then wonder why their check seems low. Now, I want to share some strategies to help you maximize every dollar of your retirement income, because even small adjustments can add up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars over the course of a year. First, if you're still working while receiving Social Security before your full retirement age, you need to be extremely careful about the earnings limit. In 2025, if you're under full retirement age for the entire year, you can earn up to $23,040 before Social Security starts withholding $1 in benefits for every $2 above that limit. If you reach full retirement age during 2025, the limit jumps to $62,016 and the withholding drops to $1 for every $3 over the limit. Once you hit your full retirement age, there's no earnings limit at all. You can make $1 million and still keep your full Social Security benefit. The key here is planning. If you're close to these limits, sometimes it makes sense to delay income into the next year or to work slightly less to avoid crossing that threshold and losing benefits. Here's another strategy that could put more money in your pocket. If you're married and both receiving Social Security, make sure you've explored all your claiming options, including spousal benefits and survivor benefits. Sometimes one spouse can claim a spousal benefit while letting their own benefit grow with delayed retirement credits. If one spouse passes away, the surviving spouse gets to keep the higher of the two benefits, which is why it often makes sense for the higher earner to delay claiming as long as possible, up to age 70, to maximize that survivor benefit. I've seen couples leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table over their lifetimes simply because they didn't understand these rules and claimed benefits at the wrong time. If you're already receiving benefits, you can't undo that decision in most cases, but if you claimed very recently within 12 months, you might still be able to withdraw your application, repay what you've received, and refile later for a higher amount. Let me address something that's been causing confusion specifically about this Friday's payment date. If you typically receive your payment on a Wednesday, but you're seeing it arrive on Friday this week, this is likely due to one of two reasons. Either there's a federal holiday affecting the payment calendar, or the Social Security Administration is conducting system maintenance that shifts certain batches of payments by a day or two. This doesn't mean anything is wrong with your benefit. It's simply a processing adjustment. The money is still coming. It's just arriving on a different day than usual. However, if Friday passes and you still haven't received your deposit, that's when you need to take action. First, check your bank account online or call your bank to confirm there are no holds or issues on their end. Sometimes deposits arrive but don't show up immediately due to processing delays at the bank level. If your bank confirms nothing has arrived, then you need to contact the Social Security Administration directly. You can call their national number at 1-800-772-1213, though be prepared for long wait times. A faster option is often to visit your local Social Security office in person if you're able to do so, or to use the online portal at ssa.gov to check your payment status and send a secure message. For those of you receiving VA benefits alongside Social Security, I want to make sure you understand how these two income streams work together, because this affects your overall financial planning. If you're a veteran receiving disability compensation from the VA, that money is tax-free, which is a significant advantage over regular Social Security income. However, if you're receiving a VA pension, which is need-based rather than service-connected, that payment might be reduced if you have other income, including Social Security. The VA uses a complex calculation called IVAP, income for VA purposes, which includes most types of income, but excludes certain things like welfare benefits and some casualty losses. If your income changes, including getting a Social Security cost of living increase, you're required to report that to the VA within 60 days, and your VA pension might be adjusted accordingly. Failing to report income changes can result in overpayments that you'll have to repay later, often with penalties added on top. As we wrap up here, I want to leave you with some final action steps to make sure you're getting every penny you're entitled to and avoiding any surprises with your Friday deposit or future payments. First, log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov if you haven't already. This online portal shows your exact payment amounts, your payment history, and any adjustments or withholdings. If you don't have an account yet, creating one takes about 15 minutes and gives you secure access to all your benefit information. Second, review your Medicare premium deductions to make sure you're not paying more than necessary, especially if your income has dropped in recent years. You might qualify for a reduction in those IRMA surcharges. Third, if you're receiving both Social Security and VA benefits, double-check that you've reported all required income changes to both agencies to avoid those painful overpayment situations down the road. And finally, if your Friday deposit seems wrong or doesn't arrive at all, don't wait. Contact the SSA or your bank immediately, because payment issues are much easier to resolve quickly than if you let them drag on for weeks. My friends, I know that dealing with Social Security, VA benefits, Medicare, and all these rules can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to navigate this alone. Understanding exactly when your money arrives, how much you should receive, and what deductions to expect puts you in control of your financial situation rather than leaving you worried and confused. This Friday, when that deposit hits your account, you'll know exactly what to look for and why every number appears the way it does. If this information helped you today, do me a favor and share it with your friends and family who might also be wondering about their Friday payments. We're all in this together, and the more we can help each other understand these systems, the better off we'll all be. Take care of yourselves, stay informed, and I'll be back soon with more updates to help you maximize your benefits and protect your hard-earned retirement income.